Thank you for staying with us and thank you for joining us if you're just tuning in. This is Report Desk Africa on News Central Television. Now, the past few weeks have seen Nigerian presidential candidates scramble for an appearance at the Chatham House in London, the policy think tank established by the British Institute of International Affairs, which for more than a century has served as a forum for the exchange of ideas and open expressions, research and knowledge. Now, the people have seen this at play over the years, but what is shocking now is how Nigerian politicians have turned an opportunity to speak at the Chatham House into a badge of honor. Those are not my words anyway. Are Nigerian leaders seeking validation from visiting Chatham House? And if they are, of what relevance exactly are these visits to the forthcoming general elections, which are less than just about a month away? Anyway, we would like you to take a look at some of the clips from some of the visits by the politicians, the government officials, and the INEC chairman at the Chatham House.
While we are accusing leaders of being one thing or the other negative, I think the followers also must learn how to be Nigerians, not coming from one part of the country.
It's how we think a vision of national development and security that is human-centered, not foreign policy that is crafted to fit the priorities of rebirth and accelerated progress.
We are committed. We can't disappoint these youths. We must build a new Nigeria. And we'll deal with that. Investors will come back. Those who left, even the young people who are today living, they'll come back.
At the end of the day, and I've said this consistently, is enforcement of the laws. There are laws, but the laws are not enforced. So let me seize the opportunity to renew our appeal as a commission for the National Assembly in Nigeria to speedily pass the Electoral Offences Commission bill.
Well, there you have it. In case you don't know, the Chatham House is a Royal Institute's International Affairs that was set up to be like a think tank for discussing international issues. And people are asking, of what relevance is the visit of this Nigerian politicians to the Chatham House? And why does it look like they're trying to seek validation? We've seen the speech from Peter Obi, from Tinubu, from Kwankwaso, and of course Yakubu. And you know, a lot of questions are begging for answers, especially bearing in mind the fact that Nigeria is one country that is yet to introduce the diaspora voting. So why exactly are we trying to discuss with people in the diaspora? This is what we're trying to establish today. And joining us to discuss this is a development strategist and public affairs analyst, Kelechi Decca. Thank you so much for joining us, Kelechi.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Now, Kelechi, we see that Chatham House has hosted the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, that's the APC, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, and the Independent National Electoral Commission, that's the INEC Professor Mahmood Yakubu, which a lot of people were surprised about. Now, some have said that Nigerian politicians are simply trying to seek Western validation, and that's why they're going to speak at the Chatham House. What exactly is your take on that?
Yeah, for those who think like that, I think they have a point. They have a valid point. But we shouldn't see it from that angle only. First and foremost, there are certain aspects of our history that we cannot just erase overnight. One of the most important aspects of our heritage and history as Nigerians is the relationship we have with United Kingdom. Aside from that, you also look at the area of economy, the area of trade. When you talk about the countries that have one of the strongest trade relations with Nigeria, the United Kingdom is up there. And aside from that, also you also look at the power of the media, the power of the international media in influencing elections all over the world, and also in driving perceptions all over the world. So Chatham House sort of provides the kind of a nucleus for all these things to come together. So some of these politicians and some of these political actors feel that when they get there, it's like a kind of one-stop shopping arena for every other things. You know, you talk about international diplomacy, then you talk about international trade, then you talk about geopolitics, then also you look at the relationship between Nigeria and Great Britain. And also when you think about the older generation of Nigerians, people who are in their 60s and in their 70s, and these are people who sang God Save the Queen. And it's not something that they have to overgrow overnight. So there is that linkage, there is that relationship, say, talking at the seams, and they feel that, you know, by going there to make their points known, they are reaching out not only to the international community or not only to the British public, but do not overlook the influence of the Nigerian diaspora. The Nigerian diaspora community in Great Britain is one of the largest in the world. And some people think that, say that, okay, if people who don't have the voting power, who can't, you know, who won't be allowed to vote because Nigerian diaspora have not started voting. But, you know, sometimes you have to factor in the fact that some of these people in the diaspora, you know, they have a lot of influence on their siblings and their parents and their relatives back home in Nigeria. And some of them influence the decisions some of their relatives back home in Nigeria.
Kelechi, I would like to butt in here if you don't mind. Excuse me for doing that, by the way. It's beginning to sound like, once again, while I understand, you know, your explanation, the kind of relationship that Nigeria and other Anglophone countries in Africa have with Great Britain, the first question will be, would other Anglophone countries like Ghana do the same, visit the Chatham House? And then secondly, this is beginning to sound like neo-colonialism once again. I mean, there are countries that are still under Great Britain who are seeking to break away from the holds of Great Britain, case in point, Australia, New Zealand. But then it's looking like for we, the Africans, we're still going back there. We'll come to that question, but I'll quickly take this one. Now, for the politicians seeking office, it's understandable that they're going there to speak. But then the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, was also there to give situation updates. Nigerians are asking, was this necessary for the INEC chairman to go to Chatham House as well to give situation update? He could have done it over here in Nigeria.